All right, so this program is number 2 of your Chapter 6 programs. It says write a program that calculates the wage for a certain amount of hours worked. Ask the user how many hours a week they work. A standard work week is 40 hours. The user makes $8 per hour. If the user worked more than 40 hours a week, they earn time and a half for each hour they work over 40. For instance, if the user entered 44 hours of work, they make 40 times 8, which is 320, and 4 times 12, which is 48. And you add those both up and you get 368. Create an if statement that checks if the hours worked is greater than the standard work week. All right, so there's a lot of, let's see here. So again, there's not like, you got, so like program's a noun, verb, noun, hours worked, ask, user, hours a week they work. So there's a bunch here. I'm not going to go through them all. So anyway, I'm going to call this one main wages and wages. And we need to set the wages and get the wages. And then we've got to ask the user to enter their hours worked. And they make $8 per hour, so I'm going to call it hourly pay. So these are the two things the user has to enter. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll pass in hours worked into this method. We'll pass that in there and also pass that in there. And then we'll run our calculations to get our total wages. Total wages or total pay, or there's a bunch of different variables that you could come up with here that would give you this into here, and then you got to do and it's based off your if-else statement. So if they work more than 40 hours, then you got a different calculation compared to if they work less than 40 hours. All right, so again, I'm going to call this one main wages. So let's do this right here. So I'm going to say file, new program, call it main wages. We'll say new Java class. I'm going to call this one wages. Import Java till.scanner. Clean this up a little bit. So I'll create scanner, my scanner equals new scanner, and wages, my wages equals new wages. And what am I going to do? I'm going to ask the user system.out.println how many hours did you work this week? And I'm going to make this a double because you could work like 2.5 hours or something. I'm going to say hours worked. And I said that they made $8 an hour, but really when you see that kind of stuff, You got to be able to program something if they make more or less than that. You got to let the user enter that. So I'm going to say system.out.println, and I'm going to say, what is your hourly pay rate? And I'll say I'll call it hourly pay. Hourly pay rate. It's a little bit different than what I just said I was going to call it. Dot next double. And I'm going to do a my wages dot set wages, and I'll pass in the hours worked and the hourly pay rate. I'll say your my wages dot get wages. Okay, so there's arrows here and here. It's fine though. So we'll do a public void set wages. And we'll want to accept these in as doubles. So double and double. And remember, I always tell you to create your new variables. So hours worked equals hours worked. And my hourly pay rate. Hourly pay rate. And I got to create double variables for these. So my and my. And I'm going to have to create, so what did I get? I don't know, I guess I'll call it total pay. Okay. So then we do this. We'll say if my hours worked are less than or equal to 40, then total pay is just equal to my it would just be what my hours worked times my hourly pay rate. So if I work 10 hours and I work 10 hours and I get paid $10 an hour, it's 10 times 10. That's giving me 100 there. Else, there's a different calculation I have to use. I have to say, how would I do this? I would say total pay is equal to 40 times my hourly pay rate, and then I have to say total pay plus equals. So this would give me 40 times, let's say I make $10 an hour. 40 times 10 is 400. So I have my $400 for the first 40 hours I work. Then I have to do plus equals my hours worked minus 40. So if I work 50 hours, that'd be 50 minus 40 because that's already added in right here. That gives me 10 hours that I had worked overtime. Then I do what? My hourly pay rate times 1.5. And I think this works, but I'm not positive, so I'm going to have to do some testing. So I'm going to do a public double get wages, and I'll return the total pay. Okay, total pay is a double. So right here, we will return that. So let's test this and see if this works, because I'm not sure it does. I think it does, but my math could be off. How many hours did you work? So let's say I work 10 hours, and I get paid $10 per hour. So 10 times 10 is 100. So I know that this section of my if statement works. Else, let's see what happens. So and we probably want to do something like this too. If my hours worked is less than Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to worry about errors in this one. That just becomes more of a pain. I'm not going to do that. So now let's say I work 50 hours. And I get paid $10 an hour. So looks like it works. It says 550. So 50 hours would be this first 40. 40 times 10 is 400. And then I do 50 minus 40 is 10. 10 times 1.5 would be 15. So 10 times 15 is 150. So 400 originally plus my 150 here for overtime gives me 550. Okay. So again, plug all this in, test it on your own, make sure it works, and you can try different numbers if you like. It should be fine. But yeah, I like to line up the equal symbol. So anyway, this video is done.